Hello, I'm Andrew, and this is my Series 3 of the weekly podcasts 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. These podcasts build confidence and know-how. Consequently, they can help you achieve happiness at work. By the way, that's also the title of my book, available at Amazon and from the book's website, My Happiness at Work. Now for today's episode in Series 3. Today, I'm going to talk about being hungry for approval, how to break free. Let me tell you about Selena. She's a marketing executive who needs constant assurance from her colleagues that she's doing good work. She feels anxious if her ideas don't win immediate praise. For example, when she proposes ideas in meetings, she automatically looks around, worried about gauging reactions. She wants consensus and regards every nod from a colleague as an affirmation. But a neutral expression or a slight frown is enough to send Selena into a spiral of doubt. Though she frames her behaviour as seeking input, it's more a search for reassurance. The result is to cause confusion and delays. You're quite right to want your ideas, your choices, achievements, or opinions validated by those around you. After all, what's the first thing we do as children when we accomplish something? We look to our parents for recognition. That is, validation that we did a good thing. Validation is part of being interdependent. Yet even very independent people still need validation in some aspects of their life. For example, I've talked to nearly 30,000 people on this show, says Oprah Winfrey, and all 30,000 had one thing in common. They all wanted validation. She further claims that every single person you will ever meet shares that common desire. Or take Nasir Jones, known for his stage name Nas, as an influential American rapper, songwriter and entrepreneur. He gained prominence in the 1990s with his debut album Illmatic. It's considered one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. Nas has consistently addressed social issues, personal struggles, and the quest for validation in his lyrics. Steve Jobs, who I'm sure you know about, said, "Don't let the noise of other people's opinions drown out your inner voice." These individuals have made significant contributions in their respective fields, and their thoughts on validation resonate with many people. Sometimes even the most accomplished individuals seek validation or struggle with self-doubt. Problems arise at work when self-validation is hard to achieve, or people don't value what you do. In our opening case story, Selena must learn to love her insights and trust her judgment. That means not continually seeking assurance or validation from colleagues. How can you strike that right balance between trusting yourself and considering others? It's quite a riddle. Let me suggest ways to solve it. To avoid seeking those proverbial gold stars or A+ and notional pats on the back. Try to break free from needy assurance and be alert to the signs of wanting more than your fair share of validation. For example, do you regularly have self-centered conversations, such as frequently discussing how great you are or your terrific work? Or do you find yourself wanting others to agree with your self-praise? Do you rely solely on external opinions about your self-worth? Or do you want help recognizing your achievements? Do you regularly feel on an emotional roller coaster? For example, feeling elated when validated, but devastated when not. Put more simply, are you over-dependent on others' opinions? Next time you face choices, ask yourself, am I doing this because I believe it's the right course of action, or because I want people to see me in a certain way? Asking yourself this question can be hard, but it can help you distinguish between a genuine desire for humility or inclusivity and an excessive need for validation. Try deliberately playing devil's advocate for yourself. For example, challenge your assumptions about situations at work. You can do that by arguing against your beliefs or decisions as if you were an external critic. Yet another way to break free from needing constant validation is to formulate your own opinions first before listening to others. When unsure of your viewpoint, it's easy to find yourself swayed or influenced by the most persuasive person in the room. And you do that not because you genuinely agree with them, but because you haven't given enough thought about an issue or are keen to be seen as a team player. So before a meeting or essential discussion, Take time to examine the relevant information. Mull it over and reach your conclusions. Until you've arrived at your thoughts on the matter, avoid reading others' feedback or consulting them. Forming your own opinion first isn't about being rigid or stubborn. It's gaining clarity about your convictions. For example, can you accept that your viewpoint has merit and reflects your unique experience and knowledge? If so, you provide self-validation that reduces your need for external approval. It also allows you to thoughtfully and consciously shift your stance based on new information, not on which way the winds of approval blow. Make it a rule to wait 24 hours before responding to contentious or emotionally charged workplace issues. With more time, you gain perspective and allow your feelings to settle. That way you can respond more thoughtfully. When you've waited 24 hours before responding, you'll often find your immediate need to seek approval or make rapid changes declines. If your urge for instant approval is strong, consult a trusted mentor or a peer during this period. Do it to gain perspective, not just to seek validation. Letting go of the need for constant approval at work doesn't mean you stop caring. Today's podcast explores the concept of validation and its possible impact on your work. Overall, I encourage you to listen, to recognize your value and find validation from within. That's a better route to promoting your success than constantly demanding external validation. You've been listening to an episode of Series 3 of my weekly podcast, 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. You can hear the other podcasts at the 50ways.site, that's 50.site. There are nearly 100 titles and you can search for any issue that interests you. If you have any questions, you can always drop me a line from there. Also, check out my book, Happiness at Work. It's packed with great stories, compelling advice and suggestions for tackling real issues that you can encounter at work. It's at Amazon or at the book's website, myhappinessatwork.com. There's also an audio version if you prefer listening. Join me next week for another unmissable episode in Series 3. Bye for now.